Okay, it's a little bit complex, but as someone who experiences unwanted same-sex sexual attraction, I oppose this bill because, well, it's not a bill now, a regulation. I oppose this regulation because it gives the state imprimatur saying there is a difference ontologically, categorically, between people, based not on anything objective or innate, but on desires. So I reject the idea that there's an LGBTQ plus identity which is different from the heterosexual or straight or sometimes what I've heard as normal identity. We are all of us, male or female, image bearers of the Holy God, and the state should not impose an ideology of identity through regulations that are contrary to that.
Do you believe that this has anything to do at all with freedom of religion or freedom of speech or things like that?
Absolutely, and those are some other policy positions that are very much involved in this kind of discussion. Freedom of religion has been discussed today. We heard testimony from Senator Chase and from Ms. Phelps on the committee as they discussed what are the implications for pastors and religious leaders, whether they're rabbis or imams, who are both licensed by the state as counselors or psychologists or even doctors or nurses, and are also faith leaders. Are they free then to exercise their religious idea of the nature of equality of human beings, or are they bound because of their professional licensure to embrace the LGBTQ ideology of identity? And that's a major concern. Free speech is another major concern. Professionals do not abandon their speech rights, whether they're a pastor or a religious leader, or they're layperson or anything. They do not have to change what they say based on the ideology being imposed by the state. That's really the big question is the state going to tell us what is and is not true about human nature? And this regulation does that exactly.
And so how do you feel about the separation between church and state?
Well, separation of church and state is an idea that's enshrined in our Constitution as protecting religious institutions from coercive power of the state being acted against them. Thomas Jefferson wrote that in a letter in Danbury, Connecticut, to the Baptists of Danbury, Connecticut, sharing about his concern that there would be a wall separating church and state. And it wasn't to protect the state from influence from the church, it was the reverse, to protect the church from influence by the state. If the state does pass regulations like this, saying that LGBTQ plus identity is true, they have imposed upon the church, telling the church what is and is not true about human nature.